Alright, so welcome officially to Building Michigan State 2023. I forgot to preload my board with players, so we just spent 20 minutes doing that. I just feel like this has to be a season where something's gotta change. Look at these numbers! 95 defense, 92 offense for a 93 overall. I don't know if the math really maths out when the highest rated player we have is a 92. And none of these guys are on defense. But I don't know. Every single year, overall-wise, is the best team we've ever had. And every single year, this team lets us down. So, I don't know. Yeah. Like I said in the very early stages of building Michigan State, that when I was about 4 or 5 years old, when my uncle put a winged helmet on me, and from that point forward, I was a Michigan fan, I made the right choice. Alright, so we did make 4th on Bryce Ahmed's initial board. That's good. Just kind of floating around here on these other guys. We might as well take the receivers right off the board. I really don't want to focus on them at all. Same with the tight end. Those just are not positions of need for us. And if we have an 18-guy class, if we're able to land all these guys, that's going to be just fine. Encouraging to see that we are already in the top 5 here on 4-star defensive end Jaden Russo. How about Greenhagen? My local sway has not gotten us to the top of his board yet with offers from Washington and Toledo. But there's not much we can do. There might be one player here somewhere. Lonnie Dozier, actually, that we can just spend those 5 hours from the scholarship last week on. And we can finally get into the season sim of 2033. In the history of building Michigan State, we have lost week 1 a fuck ton. Please don't do it again. Alright, now I don't know what kind of team Houston is, but we beat them 24-7, and that is a power conference opener. We do take on 9th-ranked Charlotte. I don't really know what's up with this team at all. Why they're here, why they're ranked. But hey, beating the 9th-ranked team in the country and going to 2-0 could do wonders for our season. So, this is, oddly enough, a very big game. Recruiting is still maxed out, but we're going to go take a look and see if anything is fucked up. We're leading on Ahmed. Probably going to be leading on most of the guys we're spending a lot of hours on. We're actually leading on Greenhagen. Worked out. Leading on a good chunk of these players. If we get all those guys we're leading on, we're going to be fine. Michigan State beats Charlotte by a point. I don't know what the 49ers are doing, but they're doing something right. Michigan State starts Big Ten play in week 3 against 2-0 Wisconsin. Recruiting is still maxed out, which is actually a good thing. Doing better than I would have thought. We're actually probably going to get a commit this week from 4-star defensive end Jaden Russo. Anyone else nearing commitment? Not really, but I'm happy that we haven't been locked out by anybody yet. Alright, so we lose to Wisconsin by 6. They go to 3-0, but maybe they've just got a squad. We wrap up non-conference play with FCS Northwest. Then we've got Rutgers. They've already lost. Purdue is 1-2. In terms of ranked teams on our schedule right now, we do have 3 top 10 teams, which is not good, but maybe it is good. Maybe we can beat some of those guys and be a 2 or 3 loss playoff team. That's also that's kind of what the goal is right now. However, this is a Michigan State squad that has, throughout our tenure, at times struggled with FCS opponents, so let's hope that that's not the case when we get to them after our bye. So looking good there. We actually lead on Balkasoon now, which is a little bit of a surprise. Trailing on Hickson, but he was the bust out of the 2 running backs we added. DeMarco getting close to a commit. Visit in week 9 with West Virginia. That shouldn't be anything too crazy. We got locked out on Wes Bloom for playing style, but he could commit anyway. We're going up against 2 max schools. They have a visit with him in week 11. He might commit anyway, so he's going to stay on the board. We did get Jaden Russo this past week, and we can sprinkle 80 hours in on some of these other guys. And right now, I'm thinking that Balkasoon is a good candidate. So we'll go in there, which might be a little bit of a mistake because now, I mean, we could spread these out a little bit. Go to a guy. I mean, Balkasoon and Hickson could be a great tandem. I don't know if we're going to get Hickson, but we'll spend 15 on him just because we can. And then somebody's going to get 10, and I think we should make it our guy, Carlos Greenhagen. So with no Hickson on our board, our running back hopes do fall on Balkasoon here, which is looking good. The competition isn't too stiff. Georgia's in there, as is Miami. They got really good pipelines on the guy, but they're just not interested, don't have an offer in at the moment. We're getting really close on the fullback. That's, I mean, good. Jeremy Yazzie, those visits with Louisville and Wisconsin shouldn't matter too much. DeMarco, those visits could be, I mean, I don't think they're going to matter, but they could be close. We're actually close to a lot of commits here for some guys. So we're going to spread the points around a little bit. Dozier is scary. Yeah, that one's not looking very good. Florida really did creep in here. We're going to be in week 5 right now. So we're probably going to miss out on Lonnie Dozier. There's just not much we can do. We could try it. We could schedule a visit, but it's not going to do anything for us. So I think it's just best to stay the course there on that. Here for Greenhagen, I think we're going to go all out on this guy, try and get him signed on. Chip Wade, that's looking, I mean, fine for the moment. He does have a visit with Ohio State, which is a little terrifying. So we'll give him 15 more. Could probably just do that for a lot of these 25-hour guys. Just give them 15 more hours. Hopefully sway them a little bit here. And if we have to go harder a little bit later on, then so be it. You know, I haven't taken a look at the 5-star corner in Hawkinson this whole time. How we doing? Leading, and leading by a considerable margin. And Tulane right now is the only visit, and that's not till week 11. That's not really a concern. So that's looking really good. He's going to name his top 3 this week. Long as our pro potential doesn't go down, then we'll be just fine. Only 20 hours left here, so we're going to have to be a little bit short here. We'll give Steve Volk 5 more and leave that at that. Also, George Brutus, how are we doing down here? Leading, but we are also, I do believe, no, not still leading on Bryce Ahmed, because Boise State had a visit with him. But that visit has already happened. Can Michigan State bridge that little bit of a gap in that final week to bring in Bryce Ahmed? Let's hope. All right, so we hammer FCS Northwest. And oddly enough, this is the game that makes us ranked. We beat Charlotte when they were ranked number 9 in the country in week 2 to go to 2-0. That didn't do it, but now all of a sudden we're there. So we got Rutgers at home before we start a gauntlet. This is the first time I'm looking at this. Purdue, Penn State, Ohio State, who's now ranked, and Northwestern. All 4 consecutive games on the road. Oh boy. We are home against Michigan, Indiana, and we're at the number 1 team in the country, at least for the moment, to end the season. Ahmed goes to Boise State. That visit really caught me off guard. So it's going to have to be all in on George Brutus, the 4-star field general, to give us any sort of hope. Now, we did land Jeremy Yazzie, Robert DeMarco. We already had Jaden Russo. We did get Lonnie Dozier. That was going to be a close one. Just got him. Greenhagen we now lead on. Wade, that's a lead. Biggers, we're trailing on Brownlee, so he's going to require some more. There you go. Max him out. At this point in recruiting, we can afford to do that. McNabb. I think same strategy. Not really a lot of panic on some of the guys a little farther up our list. Abreu. I think Abreu might be fine. Kentucky and Toledo, no visits scheduled. I'm going to let that ride. Steve Volk. That appears like we're going to try... We're going to need a lot of help here. If we miss out on Volk, it is what it is. Not particularly worried. And then Brutus. We got him maxed out now. Hawkinson, looking quite good. Tulane has scheduled a visit in week 11 and jumped to number 2. I'm feeling really good about that. That should be pretty good for us. However, George Knight, the fullback, I mean, he's just kind of lingering around here. He's got some max schools in his top 3. We'll leave that. Oh, West Bloom unlocked us. That's huge. Actually, just max him out right now. And we should get a commit from him just about instantly. We're up against 2 max schools that didn't even give him an offer, which might mean that bust is truly awful. Or maybe we're finding a little bit of a gem. We got 40 hours left over. Let's make that 55. Send the house on Chip Wade. Give us some separation. And then, who can take on 5 hours? Not Brownlee. Can anybody? George Knight. Sure, the fullback. He's the guy. Alright, so we finally earned a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week this season that means something. Major Aviles. An interception, 4 tackles, and that interception was a pick 6 for the sophomore safety. I had high hopes for Major. 35-14 win. Wasn't even really close with Rutgers. Now we take on Purdue, who's 2-4 and 0-3 in Big Ten play before the real hell starts. Alright, so we got the fullback George Knight. We haven't lost out. Never mind. We did lose out on Steve Volk. But again, that was a late little Hail Mary there. Before it gets too late in the season, as it's actually getting really close here with George Brutus for us to have a quarterback in this class at all, I think we head to the prospect list and see if there's any 4-stars still hanging around. We'll add those 2. Oh, Bernie Hocker was actually a gem. We're going to have to do a lot of work to try and get him on our good side here. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that, but we'll see how it works. So Balcasoon's still hanging around. Got some visits upcoming that are a little frightening. But there's just nothing more that we can really do on him right now. Greenhagen has not committed. In fact, he hasn't even named his top 3. But we are in pretty good shape right now. That visit with Washington is scary, but we've got a pretty big lead on him right now. Gonna be a battle for Chip Wade. Might be a battle for Biggers. Might be a battle for Brownlee. Same with McNabb. This is gonna go really good or really bad. I really can't tell. So, 150 hours to split through really 3 players here. Which means it's pretty simple. What we do. We are going to get Abreu up to 75. We're going to get Hocker up to 65. And Yoder up to 80. Which still leaves 70 hours left. And I don't really think there's anywhere else they could go. They can go on Biggers here. Sure. We're going to get a few of these back, but... Alright, not the offensive performance we were hoping for. 24-6 against Purdue to improve to 5-1 and now ranked 13th. Penn State, I believe, lost ahead of our matchup with them. Now, we do have to go to Happy Valley, which is terrifying, followed up by a visit to Ohio State. 2 top 25 teams. Northwestern is that final road gauntlet game, but they're nothing special. Michigan is 5-1, number 2 in the country. Indiana's 1-5 late in the season. And then Washington did finally lose a non-conference game, no less. They're undefeated in conference, and yet have fallen off the number 1 spot. So you really feel like we gotta win 2 of these games. You gotta beat at least 2 of Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington. 3 of those 4 are on the road. You can't lose probably 3 of those 4, especially with the loss to Wisconsin, who isn't really good. So something good's got to happen. We've had Penn State's number at times, but this is a big game in Michigan State, in building Michigan State here. These are just games we don't get, generally. Brownlee, Kentucky, to Kentucky. Brutus to Louisville. And Abdullah locked us out, so we're back down to 16 targets. We did already climb up to 3rd on the board for Knox. Interesting. Alright, so take this stuff off. Now that we've got a boatload of hours to get it done. Max him out. Hawker. We're already kind of doing what we can. The competition's really weird here for 4-star receiver Bernie Hawker. And we didn't really gain all that much, so we might get locked out by him here in this next week. McNabb remains uncommitted. This is really starting to get scary. We did at least get... oh, wait, no. McNabb was the 4-star. We did land 5-star corner Nick Hawkinson. Good. Good, good, good. And no interest at all on Dennis Yoder. Top classes. Michigan State currently ranks 2nd. Now, that's going to change. We're going to fall because we're essentially done outside of the transfer portal. This is really kind of the group of guys that I'm trying to bring in. But we'll see. So it's not really a blowout loss, but we do lose by 8 to Penn State. They move up to number 11. We are down to 19th. I maintain you can't lose 3 out of these 4. That's going to make things extremely tough if we do. I'd be sitting there with 4 losses, and I mean, we got to win the first one as well to even have a chance at doing that. So this game against Ohio State puts a lot of pressure on Michigan State here. Number 7 team in the country. It's a night game at Ohio Stadium. I don't know, man. Yeah, we got hammered. Ohio State improves to 8-0. Number 3 in the country. It's win-out territory. It really is. Michigan's still top 10. Washington's in the top 25. You got a couple of, you'd think, cookies, but Northwestern has the same record as us, and Indiana's ass, but apparently so are we. So you got to win your Final 4 games to even sniff the playoffs. Big Ten championship is not going to happen. This team blows. We're under 500 in the Big Ten again. To the bottom of the board, no decisions have been made. Yoder looking to commit, although look at the offers that he's gotten. Georgia and Alabama, going to be important to wrap him up as soon as possible. But leading on everybody but McCullough, who is actually looking more at the moment at UTSA, who doesn't even have a pipeline on the guy. What is this? Well, the Spartans have found a way. 10 years almost into this dynasty to do it again. Even a win against Michigan doesn't do anything. I mean, moral victory? Not even a moral victory, but a recruiting victory, I guess. We land 4-star scrambler quarterback Dennis Yoder. That's good. Leading on Knox, leading on Yoon. We are leading on Colclough now. And leading on Levine. So look, I knew this stretch of the season was going to be a gauntlet. I mean, we won the first of that stretch at Purdue, but you lose to every single team in your conference worth a damn. We are going to have a losing record in the Big Ten after losing 4 straight, and 3 of them to ranked opponents, and our worst game, oddly enough, came against Northwestern. A consolation game to at least become bowl eligible and win the old brass spittoon against Indiana. If only this team could play like that against any team worth a fuck in the Big Ten. 44-11. The Michigan State Spartans win, and we'll make a bowl game of some sort. We wrap up the season against number 22, Washington, who started the season number 1. Yep, not even really close with Washington, and that's not even a playoff team. That just shows just how far this team is away, somehow, still, from being good. The Spartans are 6-6, but we are going bowling with a chance to have a winning season, of which we haven't had many. Speaking of blaming the coach, honestly, I was expecting this record to be worse. Connor Stallions, in what is damn near a 10-year tenure now, is 58-67. We only have 3 winning seasons. We will have a chance for our 4th, but in the Bahamas Bowl, more likely than not. Rashawn Ruggins, quarterback for Tennessee. 4,200 yards, 45 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That is a Heisman-worthy season. And he does indeed earn it. What is the Michigan State Spartans Bowl fate? Are we not going to a bowl game? We're bowl eligible. Did we not get selected? Is that a thing? I've got to be honest. In all of our seasons of Dynasty so far, this has never happened. You are a bowl-eligible team that does not go to a bowl game because nobody wanted you in their game. Players leaving. This could get scary. The only one that's really scary is halfback Joshua Kruger. Persuasion chance is low. We have 7 persuasion chances, so we can try every one of these guys. Tight end Jeff Hack. We've got a hack. Gallipo, not coming back. Right tackle Ben Renfrey. All right, he's back. Jason Ahmed. I kind of forgot he was even here anymore. He wants to transfer. Will he go? No, he will come back. But now we get into the scary ones, the 80-plus overalls that this team apparently desperately needs. Rooks? No. And that was a medium chance. Now we head into Joshua Kruger. Oh, he does come back. To my surprise, Joshua Kruger is back for his senior season. Wow.